So Mark here from Rock and Load. This afternoon I'm joined by the one, the only Mr. Nate Bergman.
I've been walking around like I'm sleeping. That's how it goes when you jump in the deep end. That's how it goes when you jump in the deep end.
Nate is a Nashville-based DC singer-songwriter, and next week he kicks off a run of 8 dates supporting the one, the only Mr. Chuck Ragan, with the UK tour kicking off in Liverpool April 27th. Okay, so look, Nate, thank you very much for joining us, man. Absolute pleasure having you with us today, and obviously going to have you on the Irish dates for the Chuck Ragan tour as well. You just told me you're actually in Belfast now, so you've landed. You're prepping yourself, I'm sure, for a run of dates with Chuck on this UK and Irish tour. Chuck is a bit of a legend in the Americana folk punk scene. What's it like lining yourself up beside an artist like Chuck, and how do you prepare yourself for a tour like this?
I'm such a fan of hot water music, and I'm such a fan of Chuck's solo stuff, that my only thought basically is to don't fuck it up. Just be good,
Yeah.
you know? And Chuck's such a nice guy, such an easy person to be around, that it's really easy just to be yourself and to, you know, I've been thrown into I think for my solo career, I've sort of been thrown into the flames. My first solo shows initially were opening for, Dan Reed and Thursday and Cursive and Clutch and Amigo the Devil. And, I've been opening for essentially people that are at the top of their game.
Yeah.
And so I think as a student of this whole thing, I'm sort of paying attention and taking little bits and pieces and just try to be grateful, because I am extremely grateful just to be there. And I think that sort of resonates throughout the package. People know that I'm stoked to be there. So
Yeah. And did you have a relationship then with Chuck before this tour?
Absolutely not. We never met. He called me a couple weeks before the first American dates. We just did some dates in America, and he said, "Hey man, it's Chuck. Nice to meet you." We have some mutual friends, obviously, at this level in the business. It's it gets what I would say, like, it's a small world,
Yeah.
So yeah, I think we get along very well now, though. We text and.
Yeah, well, that's good. That's good. And so, like, for yourself as a solo artist and obviously a support artist, how do you sort of curate your set then when you're approaching a tour like this, sort of reaching out to new audiences?
I don't really think about the crowd too much in terms of changing my set. I don't like to pander, because I think then you sort of find fans of your music that aren't really fans of what you do. So what I do is I think about the most attractive way to open the set. So, and that's not always saying I'm going to play something that I think they'll like. It could be the opposite. It could be I'm going to play something that sort of stops the room for a minute. That might be a little jarring. And the people that are left over after, if they're still on board, those are your fans.
Yeah.
That's sort of my approach, and play to the room a little bit, at the Chuck show. His fans are so diverse, and I've been really lucky too. I mean, opening for a band like Clutch, right, with an acoustic guitar, it's sink or swim. You gotta be you. You gotta be good. So.
Absolutely. And so I was going to ask, are you performing solo as an acoustic artist this time, or have you got a band with you?
Fully solo acoustic.
Yeah.
Just me and a guitar.
Yeah. And then, so again, with a new audience and stuff like that, what's it like being a solo artist on a tour like this? Any sort of trials or tribulations you have to face being on your own, or is there like any rituals you do daily that sort of help steady the ship?
I think, yeah, there's rituals. I mean, I think I got to get up and I got to do a little stretching and walking around, even if it's in a parking lot, sort of get some sunlight, The trials and tribulations of being on your own are also the things that make it beautiful, if that makes sense. So it's I am driving myself. I am doing my own merch.
All right.
I am my own crew, right? So there's not a whole lot of backstage, hanging out. So that's the hard part, and that's the beautiful part is that if I want to stop and go to the Giants Causeway and kick around for a couple hours, I can do it. I don't have to ask anyone.
Yeah.
If I want to stop and have Burger King, I can do it. I don't have to ask anybody. If I want to switch the set list up halfway through and play a cover that I've never done, I don't have to ask anyone. So I think for me, the things that make this hard are also the things that make it beautiful.
Yeah, yeah. And was that the same on the US side of things as well? Were you playing solo acoustic in the US tour?
Correct. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah. And it's a challenge too, because you don't have the band to fill out the space.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So how are you going to do it? And by the skin of my teeth, I figured it out. So,
And I'm sure,
cheers.
as you say, I'm sure for yourself, it's quite an education because you're learning on the spot, and you're probably finding that your own songs maybe are evolving as you play them live, because of the nature of the set and the building you're even in. I suppose the crowd in front of you.
Yeah, I think a big part of it's really just, you know, look, I think as a songwriter, I've gotten to the point where I know I can write songs that people want to listen to for 4 minute stints. But I think something that and this is a choice I've made. I think something that a lot of artists do, and in some ways I wish I sort of had that gravity, but some artists basically don't say anything in between songs, and I love that too. That's great. They just play the song, next song. I think I've learned that being entertaining in between is sort of something that I like
Mm,
and something that has sort of set my show apart. So you're going to get a show.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think sometimes, I hear what you're saying because I've been at shows when you stand in front of an artist, you could be there for 90 minutes and maybe engage with the audience twice, and you can feel a little bit detached from it. And sometimes you do appreciate somebody who will maybe tell a few stories in between, help you take you
Yeah.
along the journey of where their song and their musical journeys has gone themselves. So yeah, I think crowds do appreciate that and they buy into the artist a lot more.
Yeah. And I think too, look, I have some artists that I love that I will see and they don't talk in between songs, and the songs are so emotionally heavy
Yeah.
and so beautiful that that's the 90 minutes. That's great.
Mm.
And then there's some artists that I think talk too much,
Yeah.
and they're rambling, and they're trying to give you too much. They're trying to sell you too much on who they are. I'd like to think my set now is somewhere where those two things meet. I'm going to play some incredibly sad songs, and then you're going to laugh a little bit after. Like that's just
Yeah. Yeah.
I deal with emotionally heavy situations by fucked up humor.
Yeah. Yeah.
That is me.
Yeah.
So
Well, the Irish will appreciate that. That's we're sort of well known for that.
it's where I learned it from.
Yeah. And speaking of, you've just dropped a cover of a Thin Lizzy song.
I did.
Yeah, and there's me thinking like if he's not on the Irish dates and he's dropping a Thin Lizzy song, like something's really fucked up with this world. But at least you're here. You'll get the chance to potentially perform it.
Yeah, look, I love Thin Lizzy so much, and Phil's one of my favorite songwriters. And Wild One to me is, and I know it's weird because it's not look, when people think about Thin Lizzy, I think people are like rockers,
Yeah.
fighting or the boys are back or whiskey in a jar. And that's the tough stuff that they do. But there's this real soft, sensual side to Phil's writing that people don't really talk about as much, and I wish they would. Um, Wild One to me is this like aching, beautiful song. So I kind of redid it in a way for me, And last year when I was on tour with Amigo the Devil, we were at Wayland's in Dublin, and in the middle of the set, I was like, fuck it. When am I going to get to do this? So I just sort of went into it. And I didn't even know if the crowd would really understand what I was doing. And
Yeah.
immediately people were like, holy shit. He's doing Thin Lizzy in Dublin
Yeah.
as a solo acoustic artist. So it inspired me to record it. And I don't even know if I'll play it this time. That maybe it was a special moment then.
Yeah.
We'll see. We'll see. If I
Yeah.
have some Guinness before the set, I don't know. It can be sort of swayed one way or the other.
And is it something that you like to do then, that sort of deconstruction of existing songs and like really giving them like a rebirth again?
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's like if you want to just do the original, just listen to the original. I don't think to me, that's not very exciting. I think deconstructing it, and look, I'm not the most amazing lead electric guitar player. I'm not Scott. So what are you gonna do? You're gonna play those intricate lead lines. That the whole song is those lead lines. So I sort of broke it down to this piano homage to the melody of what those lines were playing and the spaces that they held in the song. And I just did my own version of it. And at the end of the day, too, look, I also know there's going to be Thin Lizzy purists that go, this fucking song sucks. And I know there's people that are going to listen to it that maybe have never heard that song at all. Look, at the end of the day, I can only just do the thing that I think is cool.
Yeah. And what's true to you as well.
Yeah, that's the only way to do it. Otherwise, you're sort of just doing it for somebody else, and that sounds boring.
Yeah. And you've obviously played then to UK and Irish audiences before. How do you find the difference between the sort of UK Irish audience compared to, say, back home in the States?
They're better here. There's some great places in America to play shows, and you never know. Look, I just played a show in Los Angeles, which is traditionally sort of this like show us what you got kind of place, and the show was 10 out of 10 good, amazing.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Over here, there's just an appreciation for art more, I think, especially in Ireland. Like, for instance, last night I was up north. I'm in Belfast right now, and I went to this place called Darcy's. It's just a little restaurant that serves seafood chowder and brown bread and great Guinness. And so I went again, and I sat down, and they sort of had this like 80s, 90s playlist going. It had Dire Straits on it. It had some Blondie. It had Lionel Richie. It was just a weird sort of mix. And I noticed that all of there's two bartenders and two waiters. And as they're doing their job, they're singing along to the music, all of them. And the music was great. And the vibe, that's Ireland to me, is like music is life here. And in a lot of parts of the UK, music is life. And the appreciation for it is just, look, I think as Americans, we have so much entertainment crammed down 400 million people's throats all day, every day. I think you're talking about a much smaller, more beautiful place here.
Yeah, a bit more focused over here and appreciated.
I love it here, man. I'm not just saying that because I'm here. I'm saying it. I love Ireland. Yeah. I love it. I made a post last night from Darcy's. I was just like, I've loved Ireland forever, and I fucking always will.
Yeah. And you came from obviously a lot heavier roots with Lion Eyes.
Yeah.
So what sort of brought around this change then to the sort of Americana shift? Was there like a pivotal moment that happened at all that sort of made you want to change direction?
I think my writing in the last two Lion Eyes records, the songs that I focused on primarily as the writer, were going in this songwriter direction anyway, and I wanted to make some of the lyrics more personal. And Lion Eyes as a band always approached things more of a storytelling, fictional way, which is cool, But yeah, I think it just naturally happened. And a lot of the music I've always listened to are songwriters since the jump. So for me, Lion Eyes was more about being a powerful singer and telling weird sci-fi stories with heavy riffs. And I think as I got older, I wanted to use more parts of my voice. And that was it. I mean, I think it was pretty natural. It was a natural move. It wasn't like, oh, Americana's popular, I think I'm going to shift, you know?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Because
Yeah.
when I started maybe when the shift happened in 2020, Americana wasn't as popular as it is now. I had no idea. So
Yeah, yeah. And out of curiosity, when you're writing your songs, do you have like a solo performer in mind when you're writing those, or are you thinking of a bigger sort of picture with a band around you, like when you're constructing these tracks?
no, I don't think so. I think I'm thinking about the song, and I've come to learn that the album and the live experience are sort of two different things. Now, both have to be great, and there's no cheating live. I'm still a fervent believer in no tracks, no accoutrement. But okay, I guess my philosophy is if I can play you the song on an acoustic guitar, just me and you in the room, and it has gravity to it, and it's heavy in it, and it works. Then when you add instrumentation to it, it's only going to make it, in most cases, bigger and better. So, if the song can be great on its own, that's sort of my measure. And then I think about instrumentation after.
And any sort of songs, for example, on your current set list that's sort of taken a different life over the course of the tour, for example, have evolved as you've been playing them live and sort of finding your feet with them?
Yeah, they all do essentially. Like they all take on different life, and I'm sort of paying attention to what people are reacting to in the crowd, and if those moments I can then take those back to the studio and magnify them into something that I think will resonate even further live. It's sort of like this, it's like a testing lab, if you will. If I'm
Yeah.
writing new stuff and I'm playing it live, I'm sort of paying attention to how it resonates.
And do you?
Sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes it doesn't at all, and I'm like, this needs a lot of work.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah. Well, I suppose as you say, it's every day's a school day. So sometimes you learn when you're.
Every day, you have to.
Yeah. And you talking about the feedback and the sort of learning experience from the crowd. Any particular songs, for example, that really stand out that are resonating?
Yeah. From the older recorded stuff, Deep End and Into My Arms has taken on a new life, and those songs have sort of resonated. Wish I Was Dead has really resonated live. And then there's some new stuff that I'm so excited that I'm writing now that I'm playing out. I'm opening the set with a brand new song, and to watch the room sort of congeal and come to the song has been amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing.
And obviously, you're going to be exposed to new faces throughout the tour. What sort of, but by the time the set finishes, what would you love people to be walking away with after watching you play live?
As cheesy as it sounds, the two things that I hope, I don't really hope for anything. I want them to walk, I want people to be free and walk away with anything that they could take from it. Just walking away feeling anything for me is the prize, you know? But I hope in some weird way, in the sadness of a lot of it, there's comfort and hope. You know, hope that it gets better, and comfort and faith that they're not alone. It's the one thing I've learned it's the irony of being a solo artist on stage is that you're standing sort of in a room full of people that have gone through these things with you, or the parts of these stories are resonating with them, and you're like, oh shit, that time when I was writing that, I felt like no one in the world understood it, so I had to get it out on paper. And then it turns out 8 billion people are feeling the same thing all the time.
Yeah, and there must be something pretty cathartic about that when you're an artist, as you say, sort of exposing yourself to the world, and you maybe realize afterwards and talking to your audience that they're connecting on a deeper level.
Yeah, I mean, what a fucked up little exchange we have going. It's where I feel some deep pain, I put it on paper, and then I present it to the crowd, and then they feel sort of much worse in the moment at hearing it, and I feel way better.
Yeah, it is.
It's not fair. It's not fair, but it's how I pay my rent. So
Yeah, bizarre world, bizarre world. And you just touched on it. So you are penning some new music then? You have some new stuff coming
I'm writing
our
a new
way?
record right now. I'm writing a new record. A lot of the singles that you've heard coming out through the year are just songs that aren't connected to a bigger piece of music. I'm making an album. I'm making my second album, and I'm so excited. And I'm sorry that it's taken, or
Well, 2022 was
yeah,
released, I think. So
yeah, yeah.
three
So I'm
years.
sorry that it's going to be 4 years before the next one comes out. But every 4 years seems like a good pace to me.
Well, Joe Bonamassa pumps them out every 12 months. So you've got a bit of pressure on you.
Yeah, you know what though? Look, high school, right? Is in the States, it's ninth grade to 12th grade. It's 4 years.
Yeah.
So
Well,
you start as a freshman and you go to a senior and you graduate.
well, that's it. As we've talked about, it's a learning process. It'll be fascinating to see where that journey has taken you in those 4 years. And I'm sure you'll be looking forward to getting it all out on tape as well, getting it out.
I'm very excited for this next thing. I think it's a big step up for me, and I'm really excited to just have something fresh that's a new thing.
Yeah, I'm sure. I'm sure. Well, look, Nate, I won't hold you much longer. I want to say thank you for your
No,
time
I got
today.
all day. I got another day off, so we're good.
So, what are you going to do with yourself and with your time? Then are you going to get out and see the sights?
Oh yeah, I think today I'm gonna go up to Bangor. Friends of mine own tattoo and hair barber shops up there. I'm gonna go there.
Okay.
Then I'm gonna head up to Giant's Causeway, check that out. I'm gonna hit a couple castles. We don't have those in America.
Yeah, yeah, a bit of culture.
And then honestly, I'll probably end up back at Darcy's for dinner tonight. That seafood chowder was truly one of the best things I've ever eaten. So
Yeah, a lot of good food in Northern Ireland now. They're sort of branching out. We've moved away from the fry.
sure, but I will say, I think that traditional Irish food sort of gets a bad rap on the cultural palate. I think it's good. I think I'll say this, when it's summertime and it's hot outside, I don't want to fry. I don't want any of that.
Yeah,
But when it's cold and raining and dark, all I want
comfort food.
is traditional Irish food. Yeah, it's the best.
Yeah, yeah. Well, look, man, go enjoy it. The sun's shining today. You've got it very, very lucky with the weather.
Yeah, I'm gonna get out. I'm gonna do the Belfast thing, and I'm looking forward to seeing you at the show, man.
Yeah.
I can't wait for it.
So if you're in Bangor today, check out Windmill Guitars. It's one guitar shop in
Okay,
Bangor. It's one of the best shops in Northern Ireland. So wee tiny shop, but it's a brilliant shop. So stick
I'm
your head
going
in.
in.
Yeah, stick your head in.
I don't have a lot of money, but we'll see where it goes.
Oh, sure, just sweet talk 'em. Just Chuck will lend you a few quid, I'm sure.
I will.
Okay, Nate, look, enjoy
Cheers,
the rest
Mark.
of your
Thank
day.
you so much. Have a
Pleasure.
great day. Thank you for everything.
You too.
Cheers.
I've been walking around like I'm sleeping. That's how it goes when you jump in the deep end. That's how it goes when you jump in the deep end.